Bill with Bill's Never Ending Projects, and back on the 620 today. I had to renew my CDL yesterday and get an appointment to renew my insurance card, DOT physical. So today I'm going to get back on it, and I thought it'd be fun before I get started. That bird you always hear in the background, my sound effects. I'm going to try to get a picture of it. It's a real tiny little bird. Well, I guess I'll get the spark plug covers off, get the plugs out. Pretty sure I put them back in after I was done soaking it. And I don't know if I might show a borescope shot, but I'm not going to struggle with the flywheel anymore. It'd be the stuff on top of the engine here has to go before it gets heating up, because I think it's going to be 90 today. So I'm going to get some of the stuff off. Okay, I'm going to start with this exhaust pipe, since it's all rotted out right here. My finger's going right through it here, so these bolts, the nuts on here, an 11/16 almost goes on it, but it doesn't. I mean, I could hit it with a hammer. I imagine it's a 3/4 worn down, rusted out. Well, I was able to pound it on there, so I'm going to put a cheater bar on here real quick. And this bar usually never fits on combinations, but this is such a small wrench. Fits. Okay, so yeah, now it's going to turn on the other end. So how about the 3/4? Too sloppy. Am I supposed to pound on another 11/16? So I'd have to go find one. Okay, so I'm going to try and pound down another one. There's not enough room between the manifold to pound it on there. This little cheater bar I'm using, it's actually, if I remember right, it's a strengthening piece out of a dash of a 95 Grand Prix. It's behind the dash. Let's try a vice grip. It's going to twist it. Do I care? It's just a standard bolt I can get at the hardware store, so let it twist. What was the creak? It's actually coming now? That means I'd have to keep pounding it off and pounding it back on. Once the vice grips were, oh good. Let's bring the vice grips up. I didn't pound it off, did I? Okay, so I guess I can get that one now. I'll go ahead and get that off camera. Now, since I beat it on there, I suppose I should try to use a screwdriver and a hammer to beat it back off. Otherwise, when it comes off, I'll end up going over to the bench. It takes more time. Very good. Set this stuff somewhere. Well, now I have to beat it back on a little bit to get it the rest of the way off, I suppose. Just a little bit. Maybe I can actually take it off now. Coming real good. Yeah. Been too rusty? I'm kidding. It was rusted enough. It was rusted enough so that this part hardly has any threads, so it's disappearing. I'm going to do the same thing with the bottom. That's how I got it out. There, I went and found a pail to put, it's an old ice cream bucket. So I'm going to, still empty, so this will be my first bolt in there, and I'll start putting bolts in there from the engine. The other ones from the hood and gas tank and stuff are all over the, they're all over the grill area. Yeah, they're all over the grill area here on both sides in these cavities since the hood's off. I don't know if I'll ever find a bucket for them, but now that I'm doing the engine, I'm going to start a bucket. Okay, I seen I can turn the pipe down like this, and I mean it was straight up here, so it was straight up, so I turned it down like that, and then I can see the dirt that was in it. Oh, a corn cob. So who knows what's on the other side? Well, I'm going to get that bottom one now that it should be a little easier. It's right there. Need to get that one. Here we go. See if we can break this one loose. Oh, must have been some oil spilled down on that one. I don't think I'm going to have a problem. The back wrench comes off normal. It's just this front one. I'll just take it over to vise this time to get it out of there. So I'm just noticing these two lines they took off the sediment bowl. I thought they were kind of little. It took, what was it, a 3/8 wrench? They're not gas lines. They're oil pressure lines. One comes out of the governor and goes up to the sediment bowl. The other one goes up to the oil pressure gauge. So I guess they're oil pressure lines. That's something to do with something special they got for the gas flow, for when there's no oil pressure. It must shut the gas off. Anyway, looking for the next thing here to unhook. I don't really like this pipe in the way. Comes off the block and goes up there to the top of the radiator. Doesn't look fun to unhook. So I'm going to give that some thought. Then there's this right here, it comes off the head. Oh, it's the intake manifold or something. Yeah, because I decided this was the intake manifold with the hole in it, because this had the exhaust pipe hooked to it. So the intake would go up to, that makes sense, it's going up to the oil bath air cleaner, so I'd have to get the oil bath air cleaner clamp off. This rod going up to the governor area. I don't know if it's a brace or if it's, no, it doesn't feel heavy. I don't know what it is. All the way through this project, I don't know what stuff is. I'm going to have to get that rod off. Take these two out. That go up to the big huge cast fitting that goes up to the oil bath air cleaner. And then if I go around to the other side, yeah, there's two more bolts like over here to a different fitting. And it keeps having little pieces bolted together. So you got this like an elbow, that like an, that's going to the bigger casting thing. I guess I could take some of that apart and see how far I get. But this big huge pipe, bringing water to the block, and this is obviously the sending unit for the temperature. Over here must be it's a block heater. Could try to get that fitting off. This is where stuff's going to break probably, but I'm going to work on those pieces. Might be off camera. Okay, to get the toolbox off, right inside you can see the hole in the frame right here. There's a bolt going through there. I don't know if it's 5/16 or 3/8, but looks like 5/16. One on each side. So that gets the toolbox out. Then underneath there, I said this side had a block heater. Well, yeah, the block heater does come from up on top right there. And it's got to go back into the block, so it's going down underneath. And it comes up. And it comes up in there. So this John Deere has like a farmall would have a radiator hose on the bottom of the radiator and on top. I guess the John Deere has this mounting stuff. These cast pieces that gets a radiator hose right there. But then it goes back into cast again under the toolbox and goes down to the block on the bottom side there. So you have to get all that off. And the top didn't use any radiator hose. Nope. Just the bottom. And it's just that one piece there in front of the toolbox. And then maybe I can get it down to where I get this oil bath air cleaner that's missing, the oil bath part for the oil to sit in. But the rest is there. I'll have to get that unhooked from the carburetor. And so I can get it, so I need the steering part out of there. Or it's not steering, it's the fan part. I don't know how I come up with steering, but I guess because I'm international, the steering comes straight across. So the fan shaft, the higher water pipe, the lower water pipe, the toolbox, and the stuff that leads up to the carburetor and the carburetor. I'll try to get those things to work. Well, I might as well try to pull it one more time. However, I'm going to get up there to pull. Suppose I could build a couple bricks or milk crate. Yeah, just like I thought. This thing is not going to come loose. That was at least a 4-foot handle. So, back to taking it apart. I got the toolbox out for some reason. Mine's crushed a little here. I don't know how you can crush your toolbox when it's mounted inside the frame of the tractor, but it turned out to be some short, stubby little 3/8 bolts that took a 9/16 socket. One on each end, that's all that held it in. I removed the bolt out of the breather tube. It was a 9/16 socket, and the breather tube turns, so I turned it so I can get at the 2 valve cover bolts, or the 1 valve cover bolt that would be getting in the way. I got the ratchet on there now. It's a 5/8 socket. There's the chatty bird. Chatty. Oh, now you're not going to say nothing? And now you want to get in there too? What do you have to say? Doesn't have nothing to say now. That's the first. Well, if it's just those 2 bolts, 2 nuts. No bolts. There's no stud sticking out. Hold it. I'm just going to tap it. Yeah. I'm going to see if I can get a putty knife, not rip the valve cover gasket. I got the gasket so it's unstuck from the valve cover. It's barely clearing the carburetor bowl. In fact, oh, it did. Well, that's the shape of them in there. I guess they could be worse. They're just dry as heck. I don't really see rust. Well, I'm taking stuff apart. Okay, I found out that the carburetor there has this elbow. So the elbow is a Y. Well, you can't see the other side of it, but there's another elbow on the other side that's hooked right to it. It's a Y elbow. One goes to the air cleaner. Let me see where the other. Looks like they both go to the air cleaner. You got the one side of the Y over here. The other side, one over here, one over there. They both come together and go up to the oil bath air cleaner. And then this pipe coming through here that I thought was for the fan. Remember I said, hey, I kept thinking it's a steering rod. Obviously I took out the steering rod, and it was all that work to get the wheel off and all that. And it connected up on top here somewhere with that gear. There it is. Right there. That's where the steering rod hooks. So, but you got these hoses coming from the steering cylinder. They're coming down, they go to there. That's some kind of a pump, I think. And that hooks to this rod. And that hooks to this rod that goes all the way up here to the governor. So the governor must have a gear that turns the shaft inside this pipe. This is all just my guess. It must turn the shaft inside that pipe. So, governor must turn a shaft, have some gears and a hook up to turn a shaft a different direction, 90-degree turn. And then it must go up in there and do the turn that pump. That would work like power steering. Just like power steering lines go to the cylinder that are on your steering, depending what type of steering you have. So this long thing doesn't go to the head. That long shaft then doesn't go to the head, it goes over the head. There's clearance in here. So I'm going to try leaving it there for now. And now, since I took 2 bolts out of this Y, 2 bolts out of the other Y, it's like a dual feed horn. And then this looks like a manifold with 2 holes, like you would get on a 2-barrel intake manifold. And it had 2 bolts on this side, 2 on the other side. I think once I get this last bolt out, I can drop the whole carburetor out of there. And that's what I'm going to do right now. Well, there's that Y intake piece that goes up to the where the air comes in from the oil bath. It's the Y. One here, one over there. And then here's where it went into the intake. 2 big barrels. Openings. And then now, once I get this bottom pipe off, has that radiator hose there, and it bolts there, right there. So once I get those off, the head could move that way, towards the radiator. So now let me show you the carb on the table. I marked the bolts I took it out with. Put carburetor bolts. I think there was 8 of them. Yeah. 4 here. 4 there, and 2 and 2 is 4, so 8. Yeah, it's quite a monstrosity. Oh, heavy too. So that's the carburetor. Carburetor off and out of the way. It's kind of a weird. That's all. Well, the ball's normal. Looks normal in any car, but the piece on top, it's big and wide and rectangle. Well, I don't have to look at that, so I'm going to go through it and work on it. Okay, it's after dinner, and I come back out. Took these 2 good-sized bolts out, and this little must be for oil pressure in the middle of the rocker arm. So this is off. Put that in the box. Okay, there's the look before I pull the rods out. I want to take this intake manifold off. It either has four of these. I mean, this was just solid rust when I took it out. Even after I got the nut to come off, then I couldn't get it to come up out of there, and I had to keep spinning it on top, and then trying to pull it up with a crow foot. I used a crow foot, and when I wrapped it underneath with the chisel gun, a combination of different stuff, and keep soaking it, and keep spinning it and spinning it, with the impact. Well, this is just a lithium drill, just to get the. So now I got either one more on the other side. There's either two on each side, or there's three. Hopefully there's only two. And I got to get those out. I just soon have this intake manifold off here. At least this way I can see if you could actually change it with the head on. So I don't know anything about these John Deeres. And the rods I might pull out and label them. I guess I can just leave them sit there for now. So I imagine these bolts are going to take me a half an hour each. That's what I predict, about a half an hour each. Well, the second bolt on the intake manifold broke off on both sides. This is the nut side, and that's the bolt side. So it's not the nut that was too tight, it's the shank part. It's the shank part that's all rusted in there, so I'm heating it. Probably I should have heated it, but I got the other one out, so I didn't know. What I'm going to do is, it's broke off down in there about a half inch. So I got this short punch that's not broke off yet. It's just this much, so this chisel, or this punch it's long enough to get it going. And then if I can get it going, then I'm just going to use this skinny tapered one. I got two chisel guns set up. So I'm going to start the air compressor and try that. Well, so much for trying to get that bolt out. As you can see it down there. My punch slid into the intake manifold to the top and to the bottom, but would not push it straight down. It must not be broken off flush. It must be pointed. So, and then I noticed that these other bolts, there were three on each side. So I noticed these other bolts, the back one at least, is under this pipe. So this whole pipe would have to be removed to get the bolt out. And then to lift the thing up, if you were doing it in the tractor, then this whole steering thing would have had to come out. But since we're going to remove the head, I'm going to try, I've already loosened this water pipe piece. Now I got to get these clamps off this hose, and then maybe I can undo the head bolts, and see if I can pull the whole thing forward where it will drop, and then I can get at the rest of these bolts. This is what I can see for bolts. There seems to be one way back in there on each side, then three here in the middle. That'd be a total of 5 on the bottom. 5 on the bottom, and here's one right here behind the flashlight. Right here, and in the middle, and over there all the way in. all the way over there. So 3 there in that row, 5 down there, that's 8. But what about all the way up here to the top part? There's at least 4 more inches of this cast above this top row of bolts. So do these maybe act as a nut and a stud holder for the rocker arm?
Yes,
I'll take out the 8
they do.
and we'll see if it comes loose. There's got to be something up here on the top. There's 4 more inches of cast to hold against the block. So, again, I have to figure it out.
Those nuts serve 2 purposes.
Okay. Well, I got the bolts out of the head. If there's 10, 8, 5 on the bottom, 3 in the middle, and 2 on the top. Those nuts that accept the valve covers, a rocker arm stud. Seems like it came loose a little there. Just a faint line of it showing that it's going to break. Nothing over here.
Maybe I should use a block of wood.
There is something. Yeah, there's a faint line. The thing is, the studs didn't come out. 2 of them did. Oh, what's leaking? Let me get a pan out of that. I poured, what was setting over the last year, I poured oil in that intake manifold hole so I could go down and lube the valves. I imagine that's WD-40 coming out.
Turned out it was coming out of the
You
pistons.
can't see it coming out, but
There was some WD-40 left in the pistons.
I guess I could leave that leak for a little bit and take a break. I found this was a good way to do it. You put this block against the part of the head that kind of sticks out just under the intake or the exhaust manifold, and then I wrapped it up here by the flywheel on this side, so I'd be wrapping on this towards the head. The other side I was sledgehammering right next to the distributor. So now I can probably just get a bar in there and work it out. I don't think I could just pull. It seems. There's the little lineup pins. I'm out of the lineup pins, so it's coming. Well, I think it's a good place to take a break while it drips that diesel I put in there, WD-40 or whatever it is. Well, I've got it back a ways here. Not sure if I should put a floor jack under there and lift it up and let it down gently to the frame. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. then it will even roll off the end of those studs easier. And one of these three intake on the other side, I'm not having any luck with. If I lower it down, then I might be able to grind the head off the top and try to punch it through, which wouldn't work on this one. But I knew those were all going to be a problem. When I said a half an hour each, 6 bolts, that would be a half an hour each, 3 hours. But if I start grinding the head off and trying to punch them down through, maybe that'll change things. This is all the rust on a rag that came off one of those intake manifold studs. That's why they rusted in there so bad. I've got a transmission jack out now, and I just got to get a block in here and get it up a little higher. Well, it doesn't really stick all the way through this frame. As far as I can see, this frame is kind of a cross between an Oliver. Yeah, Olivers kind of do it like that, where they make them in a foundry where it's all one piece. Okay. But this could be normal hot or cold roll steel with 2 pieces welded together. I don't know. But anyway, the block's going to hit the block. So I need a short piece up in there. There's definitely a hole. There's a hole in there where it's cut out for a ways, but right away back here, it closes. So there's that cutout, so if I can put a short block in between there and here, that will get up and touch it, then it will start raising it. This 2x6 actually even fits in there, but I want more clearance in that wiggle room. Okay, I got the blocks in there now, and I snugged it up maybe too much with the jack going up and down. Maybe I got too much pressure. Now it's helping, but the jack swivel wheels haven't turned around, and I'm just kind of dragging it off the block. So I got to turn all the swivel wheels. I was also too far back with the bottom block. It was catching the frame. I just want to put my arm in there. I'm going to push it off from the other side in the back. Yeah, I'm pushing the transmission jack with my left foot. And I guess I'm all the way out. One stud is barely holding it. I think I can jack it up one little crank now. There. Might level it off a little. Let me get on the other side so I can push on the jack. World of difference pushing on the jack than pushing on the head. There it is. It's tipped to one side. You go further. Okay, so what do they look like? I see shiny metal. I think, yeah, I see shiny metal. Over there, I have to clean it out. It's just a pool of liquid still. That's a puddle you're seeing. This side, no puddle. that side of puddle, so I can't tell what it is till I get a rag and soak up all that stuff, get it out of there. But now I got the bolts sticking way out where they're not under that pipe anymore. Let's see if that helps. So let's see, this one I couldn't even get all the way out before. But now I can lift it right up out of there. Well, back to work. Well, I can't pound down on this stud that broke off in the intake manifold. But it will move because it had a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch on the bottom to go before it hit the head. I didn't realize what was going on. I'm banging it, it's hitting the head. So, to give it some more clearance, I'll cut it off with the sawzall. And there.
I tried a second cut after it drops down and hits the block again, but the second cut didn't work because the bolt twirled around.
Almost. Like a 1/16 of an inch left or an 1/8 inch. There, it's out of there. Now I can go back and get the punch off the bench, and I can knock it down another 1/2 inch. I'll keep the sawzall here in case I got to cut it off a second time. I just hope I didn't mushroom it when it was hitting the head, because then I couldn't do what I'm doing. Oh, it's going down pretty. Which punch is better? This long one? This one, I guess, long. Okay, we're hitting again. So either the intake manifold will come off now, or I have to cut it again. Keep going. It's loose. I moved it somewhat. It's still hitting that bolt. Doggone it. Let's cut it again. Jeepers. I'll just put it on pause when I cut it this time. Same routine. Now, the one on this side that was frozen there is hitting to pull it off. But if I cut it off, then I can't heat it up and get a vice grip on it to get it out of the hole of the, could be the exhaust manifold that it goes through. I've never had anything like this part, so I'm going to try to tilt the head. Give me more room to pull it. Maybe lower the jack down. See if I can get it over. Look at the rust coming out of there. Woo! I'll be vacuuming for days. Yeah, let me let the jack down. Well, you see what I'm doing. If I can't get it off the top, I gotta trim that bolt off, and then I can slide it out of there. There it is. I got it out of there. It's laying down here. And it put rust all down on my valve springs. But oh well, what are you gonna do? Look at the pile of rust here in this hole. Jeepers.
No, I guess
it's time to get the vac.
I guess that intake wouldn't have worked.
Well, there's the intake holes. I don't know. If I don't have to do the exhaust manifold, maybe I won't. But I'll check it over. And then I'll see about see if I can get it unlocked. I can't quite get a hole through that rust. It's solid. might have to replace this exhaust manifold. It's plugged up with rust. Okay, well, towards the end of the day here, I don't know if I'll come back out, but I'm definitely taking a break. The cylinder, if you were driving the tractor, the cylinder on the left side, this one, because the radiator's here. So the cylinder on the left side, I'm standing on the left side. Nice and shiny. It's nice and shiny. But that one over there, it's not really pitted so much, I don't think. It's just got that rust stain on it. But there were some big pieces in the bottom that looked like floor dry. I think all that rust that was stacked up in this manifold, from that manifold rusting out, all that rust that was stacked up, yeah, I got the exhaust manifold off too, even though it didn't have a hole in it. It had so much rust in it. And then when I tried to take it off, I broke a bolt, and then I tried to drill it out, and I got sick of drilling, so I tried punching it the rest of the way, and it broke the casting on the side. So, and this one's got these two right there. They broke off and still sitting there. And I think one has one broke off maybe down inside there. This one didn't show very many threads. I don't know. But at least there's those two broke off. So I got that to work on. And this head's gonna have to get my cherry picker and see if I can get this head out of here. And get it so I could put a deal on the drill and hone it. Not doing nothing to this one. On this side, nothing. That one, I'm either going to take some really fine sandpaper and do it by hand, or hone it, but it's still locked up. So I sprayed a little WD-40 around that piston there.
Not like that.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to be taking the pistons out to make sure the rings aren't stuck.
Probably with a porta power.
And then just put them back in, and then hone the left side. I think that's the plan. But I was pretty scared there when I seen all those big, huge things that looked like gravel on the bottom or floor dry.
I think it fell there when I pulled the head out.
I immediately thought it was junk, but it turned out to be, I think it turned out to be rust that got in there from that exhaust manifold rusting out.
Oh, that's right. It was really stuck down. I had to scrape.
This is just some liquid I put in there.
I had to scrape it with a box wrench.
I mean, I put some oil that you would put on knives in the kitchen. As I have a couple bottles of that. I forgot the exact name, so I want to protect what I got left from rusting. So that's the end of this video, possibly. Maybe I'll come back out.
Nope, I don't.
I don't even know.
See you later.